on how to address the present crisis with a regular webinar. Okay, so here we call it the React Real Estate Amidst the COVID Threat. And this webinar will aim to draw our essential lessons and explore the opportunities on how developers and sales partners can possibly continue marketing properties, engaging developers despite this current COVID-19 outbreak. Okay, so, and we are so happy. We have here our moderator. We have Saisa. Can you wave your hand, Saisa? Okay, so that's Saisa Yape, our official blogger, and he's been writing real estate articles for the past 11 years. And we're excited that everybody are here. Okay, so can you say something, Saisa?
Yes, hello, good morning, everyone. I'm so happy that we are 375 strong today, so more will be coming in a few minutes, I guess. And I
Wow.
see developers here in our chat room, so welcome, everyone.
Wow. Okay. So we're excited because we have so many new guests, new attendees here in our React training, and we want to update everybody all over the Philippines, all leaders in the industry, and we have the best speaker today that will really give you the trend on how to survive in crisis. Okay, so but anyway, before we'd like to continue, I would like to give you the takeaway for the discussion last week. Okay, so last week we did a training. Okay, because we are really keeping in touch with all of our stakeholders. So last week we invited Chris Malasarte, a very prominent writer, business writer, and also a leader in real estate. And his takeaway with this business is do business only with people people asked you of something. Okay, so you don't have to really push this business today because the sentiment is not good. Okay, so today it's about it's crisis management, it's a health problem, so we have to address this especially in the health issue. Okay, and he talks about the best thing right now is to survive crisis. It's a life and death situation. Chris said that optimize your resources to get you through the months. Okay, so in the future everything will be online. So he talked to you about he talked about that the future is really digital, and the PKS will be online in the future. Virtual site tours will be popping up. Payment system with all the developers will be linked to all the brokers and sales agent where they can also market it online. So there will be more new inventions next year. Okay, so this year. And next is for the new agents. Chris talked to you about how you can build your social media presence, learn new things about digital marketing, enroll classes while you are in quarantine, and study more marketplaces. Okay, so for the leaders, he been talking that you had to give hope to all your members because we had to cascade all what we learned today because this is very important. People now in quarantine, they must be lift up, they have to be motivated. It's very important. Then next, Chris has been talking to you that the next trend, you have to really be influencer. You have to influence the market. Okay, be an expert on what you do. Okay, so share the blogs of Filipino Homes because the Filipino Homes blogs, we have almost 500 blogs there where we can share updates on what to sell, how to sell, what are the best projects. Okay, and always pray. He's been emphasizing you that one. The takeaway is I would like to bring you another leader, Azela Honor. He been one of our top leader. Azela sold 21 billion in the industry of real estate with her network. And his takeaway is the market will catch up after this pandemic. That is her thought. And for now, we will just wait for the market to bounce back. So next is real estate is less volatile and less risky investment. It remains resistant to crises like this. And there are decreases definitely in sales. And he been talking that because of less activities of sales agent, so less sales. Okay. So next, the developers are not ready to shift out of the office. We've been talking about that, and that's the reason I've been advising all the developers to create infrastructure to make it more easier for all sales agent to link all the buyers. Okay, so next takeaway for Azela is the situation calls for a shift in our way of doing business. So we have to really be prepared with the digital transformation. So for all the sales agents, brokers, developers, you had to adapt technology. And that's the reason, like this, the webinar will be the future of communication. Okay. And we are lucky because Zella also shared this, that Filipino Homes has already prepared this for the past 10 years. Okay. So we've been digital, and we want to share all practitioners that we have to help each other. Okay. This is the how to win in business. To win in business is to was this to complement what is your strength and to complement what is your best practices. Okay, and brand will still be the biggest factor in business, because as you can see, big brands really exist long term. Okay, so then for the new agents, her takeaway is develop self-branding, build strong online presence, okay? Start doing research about your name if you are already in online. Then build your audience, create a market, okay? Then learn digital online courses, create more business connections, and connect with sphere of influence, your friends, okay? And another takeaway from Azela to all the leaders out there, okay, be the source of hope, vision, and share kindness. That is been she's been talking about that. And do not be idle. Okay, so use this time to assess, to evaluate your performance as a leader, your performance as a broker, your performance as a developer. You have to check how we can really connect with all our lapses in the business, especially in times of crisis. And this is the best time to plan for the next course of action, expand, and training. Okay, so influence your business partner to totally embrace the digital market. That was the takeaway of Azela. So again, I would like to end with this takeaway. So it's very important that we have to be driven all the time, because as a sales agents into same sales business, we have to be very positive all the time, because this is our bread and butter. And 60 industries are actually connecting with us. So imagine, real estate is the biggest industry, and so many people are relying with us. Okay, especially for the developers, we have to really help the economy when this will be in normal stage. And there will be so many business owners, businessmen who will be selling the property. So flipping, reselling will be a biggest factor. But definitely, my take, in the next 1 to 2 years, rental will still be the number one source of income for our company. Okay, so again, we're excited, and what we do, this is how we practice our presentation with the webinar of React. Okay, so later, after I introduce Boss Andy, then Saisa will start doing the question and answer. So what we do now is, Saisa, I will be introducing our resource speaker. And everybody are so excited about this guy, because he's been one of our trainer. He's the one who helped Filipino Homes grow all over the Philippines. Okay, so this our resource speaker today is a real estate broker for 31 years. Okay, so remember, guys, forget about his age. But when I see Andy, he is still about 38 years old. So you're still young, boss. And he is the operating principal of Keller Williams, Manila. Okay, so I memorized that one. And chairman and co-founder of Habitas Developments, where he helped developers come up with a good project good market study. So, and he gets so many clients today. He is also the chief advisory of Think Invest. Okay, so if you want training, you can hire him as the resource speaker with all biggest the developers here. I'm very proud that Andy has been sharing the ins and outs of real estate. And the nice thing with this guy, he is also the chairman for 3 consecutive years of one of the biggest organization of real estate professionals, NREA. So NREA stands for National Real Estate Association. And he is also the VP for Housing Affairs for CREBA, Chamber of Real Estate and Builders Association. And he is also a realtor, okay? So we've been together in America all the time. Last year, Andy was with me, and we've been with the group, and he was so happy to see 100 real estate professionals from Filipino Homes went there, and because he is also a CIPS designee, Certified International Property Specialist, okay, and developed thousands of sales champion, specifically our organization. Thank you very much for that. So our dear friend, our partner, Mr. Shark, boss, Andy Manalac. Welcome, boss.
Good morning, boss. Good morning. How are you?
Morning. Yes. So can you welcome our attendees for today?
Yes, good morning, everyone. I cannot say now, I cannot say now. Thank you for uh, getting out of your busy schedule, braving the traffic. Wala na traffic, wala schedule. So, siguro wala kayong magawa ngayon, kaya nakikinig kayo sa akin ngayon. Right? So,
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
I hope we'll be able to add value or share a little of the observations that we've had during this time, medyo marami tayong time mag-reflect, no? Mag-reflect and do research and observe and relate it with what happened in the several crises before. And this is what I'm going to share with you in the next few minutes.
Correct. That's the reason everybody are so excited to listen from you, boss Andy. And I hope your insights, your thoughts about this happening today, about the scenario of COVID-19, will really inspire us. Okay, so we'd like to bring Saisa. So this is the platform of what we do. Saisa, our moderator, will be asking you some questions, and after answering some few questions, we can entertain some questions from our attendees. Okay, and we'll have a break so everybody can go to their restroom. Okay, so but anyway, so take it away, boss Saisa.
Okay, good morning mga bosses. So, just wanted to set expectation before we start this the presentation of Boss Andy. I'd like to request everyone to please prepare your pens and notebooks so that you can write notes and you can get your ins or takeaways for this presentation. Also, I'd like to request you to ask questions. If you have questions, please type that in the comment box and make sure that you tag it as a question para makita ko siya agad. Okay, so that we can ask that question later on after the presentations. Tapos, what else? Ayun, so we just wanted to welcome first our developers. I could see here developers from we have Cebulan Masters, we have Primary Homes, we have Demeter Land. We also have Avani. Yeah, Avani is
Wow.
here. And ano pa ba? Wait,
CLI.
wait.
Boss
Yeah.
Dilip,
Yeah,
Oh,
Boss
both
Dilip is
Dilip,
here.
both
Yeah, we have also a representative from Rockwell Land
mm,
Corporation.
wow.
Ayan. And then welcome to everyone from Cagayan de Oro, of course. From Iligan City, we have from Kamsur. We have, of
Ah,
course, from Cebu. We have
CLI, boss
represent.
Joe,
Yeah,
boss
we
Maros.
have Boss
Yeah.
Joe and Ma'am Rose here. We have Ma'am Rose Yulo as well. So, ayan,
Wow.
marami. So, if I haven't mention you.
Gypsy
I'll
from
try to spend.
PHES developers. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so we have a lot actually. A lot
Yeah.
of developers here right now. So welcome to the 529 attendees of today.
Wow,
And
amazing.
yes, amazing ka. Amazing masyado. All right, so we will go ahead and start the first question,
Yeah,
Boss Andy.
shoot it, Boss Saisa.
Okay, so here's the first question that we have amid the real estate. Amidst the COVID threat. Um, for your business, boss, were your business affected by the COVID-19 outbreak, and how are your teams coping, and how do you respond to the call?
Okay. Thanks for that, Liza. Actually, when you introduced all the developers, parang kinabahan na ako ah. Okay. Anyway, welcome to all the developers also, Boss Dilib, Boss Joe, and everybody else. Actually, we've been calling this crisis or problem. So, yes, it may be a health crisis, it may be a economic crisis, but personally, I would like to call it just a shift. It's a market shift, and actually, even without this pandemic, shift is already going to happen. The shift is bound to happen already uh, in real estate. No, Mamaya, I'll explain to you why. But it was not expected to be this abrupt. Now, shift has been happening in the business. Actually, sabi nga, if you are not adapting to what's happening in the market, the shift happens. And in some industries, it also happens abruptly. Like, for example, before, di ba, before Airbnb, the hotels were monopolizing this business. Pumasok si Airbnb, they thought baliwala yan, and then suddenly kinain na yung market nila. Grab the taxis, then mind that until nawala na. The retailers, kinakain ngayon ng online sellers. The pati mga food deliveries, no? So those who were not able or those who refused to adjust, kinain sila because they thought the market will always be the same. So shift is happening. So this one, I just call it shift. Why? Because if you use that crisis, parang there's a tendency to panic, to be stressed, to be very nervous. If you call it a shift, then all you have to do is to shift gears. Then, if you're driving a manual, I think most of us now are driving automatics. But if you're driving a manual and it's going uphill, what do? You shift your gears. And what do? You shift back to the basic. You shift back to the lower gear because mas matindi yung akyat, di ba? But it depends on where the market is going, which is very important. Now, this shift, if you notice, Mommy, I'll show you also the graph. For the past 3 years, we've been doing very, very well. We've been doing very well. And since the market has been very good, available income has been very good, there were a lot of people who joined real estate. So now, when there were a lot of buyers, prices went up. When there were a lot of sellers, competition went up. So what happens? You have high prices, you have more competition. So for the regular agent who don't know how to do it properly, it has become more challenging to them. Now, here comes, there are also the old traditional brokers who are still relying on their old ways. Pumasok ngayon ang mga bagets. We call bagets, we call them millennials, we call them the tech-savvy agents who knows how to use technology, then kinain na naman yung market nila. This may be licensed, this may be colorums. And that's the reason why other brokers really hate colorums because it's eating up on their market. Now, no matter how you hunt these colorums, if you do not shift with the market, if you do not change your strategies, kahit maubos yung colorum, you will not get a share of that market. Okay, so now going back to the point of Zaira, of course, our business has been affected mainly because for now, for this first part, for this first phase, for the first phase, for the first month, it has been affected because of the restriction dun sa activities. Hindi ka makapag-viewing, hindi ka makapag-transact. A lot of developers were not prepared for this type, not only because of sales, but also because of technology. There's still a lot of sales coming in, but they're not prepared to do online reservations. They're not prepared to do online documentation. That's why I think this will also change the way we do real estate. DocuSign will be coming in, DocuGami will be coming in, maybe DocsCheck for document security will be appreciated more right now because the very important documents now has to be transacted online, and people now realize the importance of that one. So first phase ngayon yun yung activities. Kaya tinamaan talaga tinamaan yung business, no? Now, how do we cope up? How does the agents cope up? First, what they do is to keep the relationship with their clients. Keep relationship with their clients, with your network of agents, and with your referrers. Keep in close contact with them. But be very sensitive, not just offering to them. See how they are doing. See if there's any value you can add. See if there's any help you can offer. This is a time that, especially ngayon, nagsasawa na makausap yung mga tao dun sa bahay. So they'd like to hear not only text. Maybe if you can call them, it's better. Tell them that you're there. Tell them that you're still in the business and be positive. Huwag nang puro pass on ng mga negative news, unvalidated news, unvalidated information, which anong purpose on? Just to be mauna ka nag-send, but it creates fear. We should be the thermostat of the environment, of the business. We should not be creating fear. We should be spreading positivity, realistic positivity, and make your presence felt. Nandyan ka lang. Nandyan ka. Hindi ko pa maalis ng real estate, and you know what's happening. Okay, so that's also very important to attend this webinars. So basically, that's what we do. Because when you do these things, keeping in touch with your clients, what are you trying? What are you achieving with that activity? You are actually generating leads already. But this one's planting. Sometimes the effect would not be immediate. But building this relationship with your clients, sabi nga, at least nandun yung presence mo. And they know that you're active in the market. With your agents, maybe you will know that there are other good deals in the market. You see, right now, hindi naman tumitigil ang need for real estate. Sabihin mo, okay, sabihin natin na may crisis. There will be people who will need homes. There will be people who will need homes. There will be people who will need money. Urgent. Now, so, ano yung ibang source nila? Maybe they will be selling their homes at a more reasonable price. So, may transaction na naman. If they sell their homes, then they will need to move to another place, maybe smaller, or maybe just rent. That's still a real estate transaction. So there will still be transactions. So that's why you need to be in touch with your clients. Now, in touch with your network, you have to see what's happening in the market and good deals so that pag merong need yung client mo, then you may have a good deal to match. So the need is going to be there. So that's how it's affecting our business now and how we're trying to cope up. Yes, boss.
Thank you, boss. Yeah, boss. Thank you so much for that, boss. It's a very nice, analogy. Sabi nga nila dito sa chat, it's a very nice analogy of the market shift now. All right, boss. For the second question po, in your own insights and outlook, how I think part of it was already answered during your presentation earlier, but can you further elaborate? How is COVID-19 changing the way we are doing real estate business?
Okay. Yung kanina, I was able to touch on now the appreciation for the need
Mm-hmm.
to do online transactions. Hindi lang getting leads, but also doing the actual transaction itself. Actual documentation. So, the documentation, the ease of signing, and then also the security of those documents. So, several platforms will be maybe recognized or will be very popular here in the future. As I've mentioned, DocuSign, maybe Dokugami or DocCheck for security. Now, in the other parts of doing business, it will still be how we're doing it now, plus more. Because, of course, the majority of our buyers are still doing the traditional way, but then meron plus more. And their preferences now maybe would have a little more consideration based on the present experience. This is not a 1 day experience. This is not a 2 day experience. What we are experiencing now, itong lockdown, has never happened before. Di ba? So, this is something that our generation now will remember for many years. For many years. Just like the EDSA revolution before. Although some of the younger millennials now may have no recollection of that one. But this one will go down in history. Now, what will be the appreciation now? Maybe the people now would think, no, I would like, I would now prefer lower density projects. Okay, lower density projects. Because, alam mo yung scare ngayon, okay, maybe you're in a condominium constable. What if ang mawala sa inyo si Wi-Fi? Diba? What if mawalan ka ng electricity? See? So, maybe low rise or lower density because the more people in the building, the higher is your risk of contamination. So maybe those will be things that will enter the mind of the buyers. Now is also the time that people realize. Imagine, we're all very lucky. We're living in our houses na may konting room, may konting space sa paligid. If you're in a village, maybe you can have some space to walk around. But if you're inside a very small unit, ikaw lang mag-isa in a small studio for 1 month. Kaya sabi nga ng mga psychiatrists, okay lang. Hindi ka nasisira ng ulo if you're talking to your walls. Pero pag yung walls mo, that's a bad sign. If the walls are replying to you, that's a bad sign. So maybe now, people would prefer maybe bigger space for the same price, maybe less amenities, because right now, okay, sino ngayon nakakapag-swimming dun sa mga amenities nila? Diba? So now there are some realizations. Location-wise, ngayon natin na-appreciate yung location na you're near. Right now, the most important thing is food. Diba? Now, also, the proximity to your place of work so you can avoid cramped spaces. If possible, maybe I would look for a property to invest in where it will be walking distance to place of work or school, where they don't have to take the bus or jeep or be in a crowded place. Yung pagkapraning ng tao ngayon with germs will, at least for the next few months, nandyan yan. Nandyan yan. Okay? Maybe, also, maybe, uh, there will be additional features ng, this is just a wild idea, yung air vent, but can be disinfectants. So that as you enter, nagkakaroon ng konting sense of just safety. Just a wild idea, but it's now another thing is that people might now go back to the basics. Those na nabentahan natin ng mga bahay for years for their end use, I think nobody is complaining. They might be thanking you. They will be thanking you because the property that we sold to them, they're using it now. Right? Salamat sa inyo. Salamat sa mga ahente. That's one thing you're proud of to be ahente. Number two, those who are engaged in long-term leasing. I think some of them, kahit na meron stock ng work, at least, especially those who are able to buy properties at the price wherein it will still generate positive cash flow. They don't have to worry about their monthly amortization. And long term yan, so nandiyan pa rin yung tenant nila. Medyo tinamaan ngayon those who are in short-term lease na doing their own Airbnb. Condominiums are no longer allowing that, at least for now. Medias are not allowing that. I actually tried to offer, I have a vacant condo in Quezon City. I tried to offer it to health workers, dapat, but then the PMO will not allow it. Okay. So, that's one. However, we've talked to one of the more prominent, I think the biggest service apartment operator in the world, which Boss Joe knows, their occupancy is still around 50 to 70% or 45 to 60%, which is still very reasonable because the long-term, because of their long-term tenants, they're not very dependent on tourism. They have long-term tenants for expats here, and they're professionally managed. So this service apartments, professionally managed international brands with long-term tenants, mas safe. Okay, now mas na-appreciate nila. At least meron silang may income pa rin. May rental pools. I only know of one project here in the Taguig area which offers 6% return kahit na wala kang occupant. It's run by a professional. It will be run by a professional hotel manager also, but they're offering 6% even if you have zero occupancy. And then as the occupancy increases to 70, 80, 90, they increase by 1%, 1%, 1%. But that's only one operator that I know of. So, yun. These are some of the things that in my opinion, would may happen or may happen.
Yeah, good point.
That's a very
Boss
nice
Andy.
advice.
Back to the basics. Smaller units na magagamit ko.
Lesser
Kung
amenities.
pwede nga, if I can buy a unit which I don't need to co-share during this time, I would rather buy that. I would rather do that than rent. So the size and the price will play a big factor. For the past 3 years, we've had mga co-dwelling, di ba? Mga co-sharing, mga co-working. Ngayon, COVID. Ayan, puro-puro ko. So, tumobra to sa ko ngayon. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that very nice insight, Sir Andy. Now we have a few questions here. Can we already ask at least one of them now, Sir Ton?
Yeah, you can
Or we'll do
start
it later.
some questions from the agents, developers. They can shoot. Then both of us, Boss Andy, can even answer those questions. Yeah.
Okay, so we have one question here from Erica. Um,
Yeah.
is it an effective way to divide the real estate into submarket to do the mass appraisal of properties?
Is it?
Wait, takaw. Is it an effective way to divide the real estate into submarket to do the mass appraisal of properties?
What's the objective?
Submarket, yeah. I mean, basically, the government today is looking at some issues on housing. So, number one, we're gonna look at the factors. Okay, the factors today. If you look at the housing department, they don't have experience in housing. So that's the reason we have to start this. We need an organization that will really echo what are really the needs of the market today. So the needs of the market is the real appreciation, appraisal of the property. So you look at like Cebu. Cebu today, there's south and north. The problem in Cebu, they only updated their zonal value for the south. Now, what did happen to the north? So if you look at the factors today, why is it housing market are not really taking a look at seriously? Because the government have no experience. They never even tap organizations. They never tap the experts to really give what are really needed to really update our property values. So, and you look at what happened. Most of the owners today are pricing their own price. We cannot do that. There must be index of prices. I go to Cagayan, I go to Kamsur, I go to Manila. Everybody just make their own price. So today, it's very good, Erica, that you open this. The issue is no professionals. They never had the right people to really give them the right ideas. So, and this is where we come up. We have to start this. I've been doing webinars for the last 2 weeks now since the COVID-19 started the quarantine. And I'm so happy we get so many ideas, so many experts, and we can even make this a venue to really get together, the developers, the government, and the market sector to really understand the sub-market. So there's no such thing. Like, for example, in Manila, it's chaotic. If you go to BGC, why do they price like that? They price it not because of the market, they price it because of the buyer. So they price it because there's so many buyers, but they never price the right value. So for me, we've been talking with Boss Andy, the chaos of housing, and we need to address this properly. Just like what happened now. Why is it so many people are complaining about the quarantine? Because they are not in the right home. Now remember, we are all in real estate. We know now the problem. They cannot stay in a small house which is very hot here in the Philippines. So what's the issue? The issue today we saw is they cannot stay at home because their home, there are about 8 people there and they're only in about 15 square meter. So we need to address this to the government that there must be a housing project that is really serious, because what happened, there's another health issue, because this is a health issue today. This is not economic issue. Health issue must be addressed in health. That's the reason if you see so many people addressing the so many negatives about the president, that's not how you solve it. We have to solve it in the right way. And the only way we as leaders, all of us, we have to really be vocal that to say something about positivity. People today are depressed. They have problems today. So we have to really lift them up, okay? Because they cannot just listen to all this news. So after this will subside, and in the next 5 6 months, it will go back to normal. I hope we have to really join hands to all the professionals out there. Boss Andy and me, we don't want to be in politics, but we want to help the government, and we have to help each other. Your ideas, why our ideas, and we can create an organization really good for the whole in the general in the general part of real estate. Right, Andy?
Yes, boss. Agree.
Yeah.
Kesa nag-away-away din, pag-form ng IPO,
Yeah, that's the problem. Politics.
let's help, let's help. We have a big force. I mean, imagine the size ng agents, Andrea, Nar, Pare, Breba, Kobap, I mean, if we join forces,
Yeah,
our voices will be heard.
correct. And this is for everybody. Okay, we don't have personal interest here. We just want to help the industry, so everybody will win. The brokers, the salesperson, the developers. If we stand together, believe me, we can be the best industry in the whole world. In fact, Philippines now ranks number 3. So why are we not taking advantage of this? Even if there's so many issues in the government, but still we are the top 3 economic driver in Southeast Asia, and in fact in the whole world. But you look at the scenario. Why is it we got so many small casualties with COVID-19? So because, people say because there's no testing. We already are on the 3rd week. On the 3rd week, you can check if people are dying. So if people are dying, so meaning there's so many people got infected. But still, we got 79 people died with COVID-19. But we have to be very positive. Believe me, all of us have to make money to help the society. And this is the best thing. Sharing ideas, asking questions, and we can really connect with each other. Okay? So, Boss Saisa, any other question?
Yes, we do have another. We do have a lot of questions here, boss. But I think we would like to pause a break for a while. Just a 5 minute break, and then
Yeah. So, but before I'd like to pause a break,
washroom break and everything.
yeah. So before I'd like to pause for a break, Boss Saisa, we'd like to recognize the developers and organization. We have the PAREB here. We have RevUp, the full force team of RevUp. Okay. So thank you very much, okay, for
Yay!
attending our discussions here. So we have Demeter Land. Okay. Congratulations for being one of our attendees here. CLI. Okay. Team PHCS. We have Rockwell, Aticor, Primary Homes, CLS, Salimbangon Family, Coho, the Vistaland Group, okay, so Eon, okay, then Golden 8, Boss Dilip, okay, so AP Residences, Imperial Homes, and the rest of others who are here, so LPC. So if you are a developer, you can write down on the right side of your screen your name and your company. So we'll have a break. So
Yeah.
everybody, for 5 minutes, you can actually go to the summer room. Some for rest or women, some for men. Summer room. Okay. So Boss Andy, very nice idea. I love it.
Yeah.
So any question? Any other thoughts, and Boss Andy?
Yeah. When we go back, I would also like to share a few slides which I'll be
Yes.
getting from a module that I've prepared before we run out of time because of the questions. But this is
yeah,
something
that's
very important. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Boss Andy.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, thank you, boss. Just saying
Okay.
hi to Sir Nolly Aleje as well. I saw him.
Oh, Boss Nolly, how are you? Our
Ay, amigo, hindi ka natuloy sa Italy.
amigo. Siya ng next speaker natin.
Yeah.
Dapat
Alright,
nasa European
so,
si Boss
perfect.
Nolly ngayon eh.
Yeah,
Oo nga. Oo nga
and
po.
he got a very nice idea also.
Okay.
Rebap, Laguna. Sige, okay, we'll have a break and let's be back.
Searching for your ideal home? It's all easy now with Filipino Homes. Think of all that you can do inside an app. Search properties all over the country, whether it's for sale, for rent, or foreclosure. You can adjust the lot and the floor area range for your liking, and the price range that fits in your budget. Just click the property that you like and contact the agent. Search, adjust, talk. Only with Filipino Homes.
You dream of a lifetime, and now is the right time with Filipino Homes. Filipino Homes, you truly deserve it, and you finally made it a home of your own here at Filipino Homes. At Filipino Homes, we're here to serve you. At Filipino Homes, we'll make your dream come true. For you, make it easy. Together on this journey, only the very best for you. That's our passion, we make it happen. Perfect partners that you've ever known. At Filipino Homes are exceptional. Filipino Homes, always professional. Filipino Homes, a place to call your home. Filipino Homes, always feels like home. Filipino Homes.
Okay, so we're back online.
So we have Aboit Islan, okay? So Best Dizon, the head for sales. So welcome to our webinar, okay? So we're happy again to welcome everybody for this React, okay? So real estate amidst the COVID threat, okay? So welcome to our webinar with Boss Andy Manalac. This is an initiative of Filipino Homes to keep in touch while we are in quarantine. So, again, this webinar will aim to draw our essential lessons and explore the opportunities on how developers and its sales partners can possibly continue marketing properties despite the current threat. Okay, so again, let's go back to our topic, Boss Saisa.
Yeah, I
Myban
guess
Properties is
Sir
here
Andy is
also.
still, yes, is still trying to upload the slides.
Yeah. Okay.
Ngayon.
I would like to answer one of the questions raised here in our discussion. And I
Okay.
would like to highlight first this one. Okay. So, one of the questions is from Joseph Neil Trinidad. Okay. Is our government ready also for an e-document and do some amendments in the law, especially the realty e-commerce law? So what's the timeline in this to implement after this pandemic? Okay. So honestly, Joseph, number one, the housing sector of the government must be in place. Okay, so they cannot move forward if they didn't have the right zonal value, they don't have the right advisor, they don't have the right team to give them an idea how to move forward with real estate until, and that's the time that they will be
Signal.
prepared for this. Okay, so and like today, they are not doing the right thing for the industry. Okay, so like the issue on the pricing, so the price ceiling, the taxes. We don't have even tax law on real estate.
Boston, putol-putol ka.
They keep on
No signal, boss. Yes, Boston? Okay, one moment lang po. Ayusin na natin signal ni Boston. Yeah, medyo mahina signal ni boss. Okay, he's back. Alright, you're back, boss. Wala ka pong audio.
yeah. So
Okay.
again, I would like to reiterate on the issue on is the government. This was raised by the question was raised by Joseph Neal Trinidad. Is our government ready for the e-document and do some amendments in the law about realty e-commerce law? Okay, so what's the timeline? Okay, so again, to make it short, the government is not ready. We know that because I'm in touch with the government, and but the problem is they are not yet listening to the proper organization. So that's the reason. If you look at the whole process, in order to be updated with what is really needed in the market, they need a very good organization. They really need a group that will really give advice on what is really needed today in the present situation. Okay, so my advice a group will be involving real estate
Wala ulit.
expert and there they can move
Boss?
forward and focus on what is. Am I cutting out?
Yes, you're cutting out. Teka lang. Relogin lang natin si Boston. Yeah, siya signal. Hey, hello from all Rebap present in the chat room.
Harry back.
Marami sila. And we also have guests from the US. Hello, everyone. Okay, Sir Ton is back.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll proceed with Boss Andy later. We're gonna have some discussions on this.
All right. Okay, so okay, Boss Andy, do you have your presentation up ready, sir?
I think it's there na. I just need to click start. I'm more used to Zoom kaya ito yung first
Okay.
hindi ko masyado sanay.
Okay,
But
so start presentation and then start.
okay. Now, actually, this one is it? I extracted it from a module that I'm preparing for a couple of developers who has already requested me to do a session for them after the lockdown. So this I'll be sharing some data. Na this is why personally, what I feel is that while nobody knows when this will end, nobody knows when this will end, but there
Correct.
are indicators that we may be able to recover relatively faster than the others. And this is where I'm coming from. Okay, the model that I'll be
Awesome.
presenting would be how to survive this shift. Mag-post ka ng TikTok o mag-plan ka ng tactics.
Wow.
Okay. Because right now, a lot of people spend a lot of time preparing and practicing for their TikToks. Pero, hindi naman nagpa-plan ng tactics on how they can uh, get out of this shift or the whole crisis alive and even better. You see, nature right now, without us doing anything, without with us being at home, nature is healing itself. Nature is getting better. Nature is getting more beautiful to serve us more. What are we doing with this time that was given to us? What are we doing with this free time that was given to us? Are we improving? Are we using it productively? Are we thinking more? So that's this, or are we just practicing dance moves for TikTok? We plan tactics. We plan tactics. Okay. So, how do I shift this? How do I shift this, boss?
Ano po?
How do I shift this?
Would you go back to the
No, the
slide?
slides. I'll be sending the slides. Yeah.
Yeah, just. You want me to click next? Oh, there.
Okay. Next. Okay. Now, be better brief with this one since we don't have much time. I'd like to share this one because this is our GDP growth from 1982 to 2009. What I'd like to share is that if you see this blue one, this is when I got into real estate. This was in 89, and I got my license. That's why it's important to get your license. Okay, 89. But that time we were going down already. This was the 89 crisis. That's real bad crisis. Deep, long, uh, and then this was a time na all man-made calamities and natural calamities were there. You had the Pinatubo, you had the Ormoc, you had 12-hour brownouts, interest rates was at 32, dollar was at 60, people were leaving, umalis sa mga bases, and a lot more. And during that time, wala naman mga malls for your exhibits, walang magagandang model units, walang magagandang brochures, walang video, walang online. Hindi pa uso yung pocket bell or easy call until mga late 90, early 90s. And then, so it was more difficult. And then the way we sold before, reservation now, tapos 30% down payment after 30 days, balance of 70% in 24 months. That was how tough. But it was also good because you get your commissions already in 5 weeks or 6 weeks. So that's why during that time, pag nakabenta ako ngayon, next week, pwede na akong mag-credit card because alam ko, may pambayad na ako. And then the next one was in 97. So we're just picking up. Pagdating in 97, this one was very, very abrupt. This was the Asian crisis. So the first one was domestic. The second one was Asian. Magkakasama kami dito nila amigo, nila Boss Noli. Actually, when I got into real estate in 89, si Noli Alieje, nasa TV na yan. Yan ang totoong guru. Anyway, so we got down in 97. It was really bad because biglaan. Nobody was prepared for it. But this was more of ASEAN or Asian na. Among the Asian countries, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, they were hit bad. Negative yung GDP nila, but then and then tayo, our currency devaluated, but only about by about 34-35%. Not as bad as them. And then, pick up siya, 88. And then, okay, if you see that blue one, this one is more of a personal crisis where my daughter had a brain tumor, and then I had to sell whatever I can sell, properties, or just to sustain that procedure. And then, so this personal, and then this one, the final red one, was the global financial crisis. You see, the world was negative 1.74 already, global GDP, but then we were still about 2% up. Bumagba, so siguro sobrang may practice natin. One, practiceado tayo. Number two, it was the difficulty of access to financing which really saved us. You see, this was more of a bank problem with the housing in the US. Doon kasi everybody was just borrowing money. Naka-mortgage kahit wala kang trabaho. You've heard of the major loans before, right? Now, dito sa atin, para makautang ka ng piso, you have to prove to the bank you have 10 pesos. Diba? So that actually saved us. That's the reason why now it's yun yung magiging danger if the banks mag-sobrang relax dun sa lending nila. It's something that we should really be very careful of. So, this was in 2008, no? In January 2009, I've attended about 4 economic briefings because that was the time that I was the president of the National Real Estate Association. So I've attended 4 economic briefings. Lahat na sinasabi, be prepared, brace yourself for economists. Brace yourselves for a deep and long recession. Deep and long. So nakakatakot talaga. However, and that was what they were saying. However, so whenever I came back to the office from those sessions, I never told the agents about it. I didn't tell the agents about it. What I told the agents, this is going to be a good market, and we re-strategize. That's the reason why in 2009 we actually made the records in the company where I was working with, because the agents, ang mindset nila, it was an opportunity. You see, it's on the mind. Otherwise, what if I told them, pagbalik ko ng office, guys, be prepared. This will be a deep and long recession. What do you think will happen? Malamang lahat yun nagsiresign, naghanap na ng trabaho, naghanap na ng regular jobs. Right? So, it starts in the mind. And then we recovered. Again, I'd like to repeat, sabi ng economists during that time, in January 2009, it will be a deep and long recession. But look what happened following year. Naka-recover. Now, how does it compare with the world? So we were doing, see, nasa positive 2 pa tayo, but the world was already negative. So let's compare that. Philippines, tong nasa taas, world was tong nasa baba. We were following the trend, but we were above that trend. Okay, so those are the data that I got. Now, this was from 82. So the following slides will be from 99. So that's why naglagay ako ng lie dito for the next comparisons. Okay. So real estate growth natin. Real estate growth against GDP, of course, because of the multiplier effect, we're pulling up the GDP, and kaya ganun ka-importante ang real estate in our industry. It's good that it was recently that they recognized yung importance natin, and we have now the department. And who are pushing this? Ahente. But still, nobody is recognizing the ahente. Ang tingin pa rin sa ahente is we're the lowest profession dun sa society. That's why they should recognize that. And wala pa rin, alam niyo ba, wala nagre-represent ang ahente sa Congress or what. No? We need to have our voices heard. Now, inflation rate. This was in September 2018. I remember this clearly because I was about to make a presentation in Vietnam with the International Real Estate Conference. When that morning, pagbukas mo ng newspaper, 6.5% ang inflation rate natin. It was bad. Now, real estate versus T-bill rates. It usually goes in the opposite directions. This one I still have to research why dito nag-meet siya. Okay. Now, why am I presenting this? Itong next slides will be very, very important. Right now, when we talk about real estate crisis o baka bumagsak ang real estate, wag muna natin, especially the audience now, most of the audience now are sellers ng mga projects. And I think some of the developers who are present here now are developers of projects and mostly residential. So let us focus on that market of real estate first. Let's not talk about real estate per se in general. We're not into warehouses, we're not into office spaces, we're not into industrial, we're not into malls. Diba? So for the sake of the Filipino Homes agents now, let's focus on how this will affect our business. Will it affect it negatively? Or is there an opportunity? Let me show you. Okay. Overseas Filipino workers, karamihan ng mga binibentahan natin ngayon are the OFWs. Before, they call them the OCWs, about overseas contract workers. Now, OFWs includes everybody, pati mga foreign-based Filipino workers. So this is a survey made in 2018 wherein about the OFWs, but mainly these are more on the OCWs also. Where are they? Mostly in Asia. Okay, mostly in Asia. There's Asia, there's Africa, Australia, there's Europe, and North America. Okay. So kita mo yung contribution nila. Still, majority is, a big bulk is in Asia. Now, 85.5% of all OFWs work within the Asian countries within a 3 to 4 hour flight, where Hong Kong, Japan, Taiwan, Malaysia, Singapore, other neighboring countries, including Brunei, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE. Okay. I'll show you why I'm showing this. So, una, OFW market. Now, Philippine tourism natin. Sino ang top tourists natin? Tourists na they spend money. Okay. Korea, China, but medyo na overtake sila ng China then, but they're running neck to neck. Korea, China, Japan, and Taiwan. US we have, but this also includes the balikbayans. But the balikbayans also stay with us. Population. So, tandaan nyo kaya, OFWs, and then the tourists. Population. Population is very important because this will determine also our local market. Our median age is at 26, no longer 23, because it's also done this one was done in 2016, so it's now at 26. Now, what is the peak buying age of a typical worker? It is from 30 to 39 peak, but it starts from 25 to 39. Imagine, nasa 26, so parang ilog yan. That market, if we also try to serve that market, domestic market na affordable, that would still, parang river, that will be a continuous flow, and this will be in the millions. The people but the population between the 20 to 29 consists of about 33% of our population, or one third. One About one third of our population. So again, that's in majority of them are productive, skilled, educated. Fastest aging growing population: Japan, Italy, Greece, Germany, Portugal, Ireland. What's happening to them now? Who has the highest deaths now? Who has the highest new cases now? Older populations. Okay. FDI flows per country. Saan nanggagaling yung source natin? Singapore, China, Taiwan, Malaysia, Vietnam. So a lot of them come from this country. Saan yan? Nasa paligid lang din natin. Top 5 Philippine import partners. Okay, again, China. United States is almost the same as Japan and Singapore. Top export partners. Now, do you see this import and export? Halos half or more than half nandito sa Asia. Nandito sa Asia. So you have US here and then the US here. But all the rest will be in Asia. I'll show you why I'm trying to show all of this data. Now, this is a real-time data, but of course I screen captured this one on March 31st on the counts ng cases ng COVID. USA, the one with stars are the countries around us in Asia where kagaya sinabi ko kanina, saan nag-work yung mga OFWs natin, saan nanggagaling tours natin, sino trading partners natin, sino naman karamihan sa FTIs natin. China, South Korea, deaths is 4. This one, walang data ng 31, but I'll show you the one I got last night. While the others, USA, new deaths, 700. Italy, new deaths, 800. New cases, 23,000. New cases, 4,000. South Korea, new cases, 125. Okay. Now, next. So this one I got last night. So China has only 35 new cases as against 13,000 of USA, Italy 4,000, Spain 6,000, deaths 6 so China, the rest is 271. South Korea 89 new cases, deaths 4. So compare mo dun sa Europe and US, very tiny fraction lang ang nandito sa may Asia. Okay, let me proceed. This again, March 31, South Korea, Australia, 1 new death. Norway, where we have a lot of our seamen, our seafarers, 7. Japan, so no data no March 31, but yesterday it was only about 3. Thailand, 1. Saudi Arabia, 2. South Africa, 2. Singapore, it's 3. Wala pa naman siya nadadagdag. Qatar, 1. Hong Kong, wala pang data, but kahapon it was 1. UAE, 1. You see? What I'm trying to drive at here is that kung saan tayo nakikipag-transact, kung sino binibentahan natin for the past few years, right now, hindi, compared to Italy, US, Spain, and other parts of Europe, we are recovering, our neighbors are recovering at a much faster pace, which means we may be back in business sooner. I don't know when, but sooner than our Western counterparts. Now, sabi na, marami tayong OFWs sa Europe, sa Germany, sa London, sa US. That's true. And where are your buyers working? Most of them, nasaan? Healthcare. Nakastock ba sila sa bahay nila ngayon? Naka-quarantine ba sila? They're the most in demand now. And unlike in the Philippines, in those countries, they're well appreciated and they're paid extra during these times. Okay? They're paid extra during these times, doing what they're doing every day. So, after this, even if, for example, they recover later, but yung market na dati na nating binibentahan, they're still very productive now. See, there's still that market. And sabi nga, okay, this was in December 2019. Sabi, in 2020, Asia will have the world's largest GDP. And then, by 2030, Asia will have about 60% of the world GDP. So, you knew it's not really a wild assumption or overly positive. Sabi nga, during shifts like this, tatlong klase ang lumalabas na tao. Number one, those who are unnecessarily pessimistic. There's this book about the shift. No? So sabi nga doon, there's number one, isang tao is the unnecessarily pessimistic. There's also the overly optimistic, unrealistically optimistic. And there's the third one who knows that they might fail. They might fail, but they prepare for the worst and strive for the best. Let's be the third one. Let's be the third one. We're not just being unrealistically optimistic. That's the reason why I did this research and find the basis for this assumption na can we recover? Can we recover? How fast can we recover? Especially in our world of real estate. Not the whole world of real estate, but where we are right now, selling affordable projects. Okay. Now this is another topic that I'd like to discuss, maybe in future webinars. This is about sabi nga, yung introduction ko kanina, wherein this is the shift where we can have that opportunity. During good times, when you have a lot of income, this is what you call the law of equilibrium. When you have a lot of income, a lot of agents are joining the workforce, the industry. Pag nag-start bumaba, susunod din yan. Now, this gap is the resilient stage. If hindi ka bibitaw agad, then maraming malalaglag dito. That will mean fewer competition, and if you have established yourself in the market, then you will reach that point of hindi lang survive, but you will thrive. You will thrive. You've established yourself in the market, you've established your connection with your client, you've established your authority, you've established their trust. When the market picks up, you will be the first one on their mind. This is when you will thrive. That's why my advice is for you to be resilient, and at the same time, keep in close contact with your clients. And then just sharpen the saw, improve yourself, and then build your relationship. And then you will really reap this benefit. Bago na naman sila dumami. Dadami na naman yung mga... Ang dalawang malalaglag dyan, of course, some colorants are doing it really part-time. Number two, those old practitioners who refuse to change, who refuse to adapt to the shift. Of course, syempre, kahit wala tong COVID, will be out of business if we insist on that. So, okay, these are just few. It's a full program, but I don't think we have enough time. So, I hope I was able to share some good insights regarding that.
Yeah, very good. Actually, very exciting slideshow, very juicy slideshow, and I hope everybody are listening to you, Boss Andy, and they've been learning. We understand the most important to react in any, and that's the reason why we call this react, because we have to react in our situation today. And in order to react, we have to understand our situation all. And it is very important to see those slides because, if we don't saw that, we don't see that, the problem is we will not
No connection, boss.
mostly. Can you still hear me, Boss Andy?
Yes.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah,
You're back.
and most of the questions here is regarding marketing. So number one, we have Rika. Rika asked, throw a question. The crisis may lead some investors to have their unit assumed. Okay, so meaning this is inevitable, and COVID-19 really make our clients troubled in payment. I agree with that, and that's the reason we already. I mean, about 60 developers now handle this week is honestly speaking, we're expecting huge was this demand of adjustment of payments of equity. To minimal, we have some actually letters. So the most important, make a letter. If your client, okay, but don't campaign this. If your client have a problem in paying equity because she cannot go out, or she get a problem, she get laid out by his job. So my advice, write a letter, let your client write a letter, send to the developer, and let's see how we're gonna address it. Okay. So we have also questions here from Jessica. Okay. So I think people with liquidity issue will be the one that starts selling their properties. Because if you have savings, what you should do is both sides. Okay, so people who have money today, they're everybody are free today. So people who have money, they're looking for distressed properties, and this is the best time for them to buy. So if you're an agent, you're investors, and there's so many people already are disturbed. Like for example, stewardess today, pilots, travel agencies who have properties they invested, then they can flip their property. It's the best time. They can make money. They can liquidate it, and you can bargain. Okay, it's very good. But I'm very sad on this happening. But it is a very good opportunity for investors and good opportunity also for the sellers that they can also give thanks to the Lord that they already invested some properties before and they have their money intact there and their property has been appreciating also. So for Boss William Floresta, developers may face a lot of buyers who will ask for a moratorium. Again, correct, they ask for relaxed payment. Number one, there will be actually most of the buyers will be sending letters to remove interest, to remove late fees, and banks now and developers now are talking. So we can see in the next 2 weeks what will happen. Okay, and we have Grace. Wala nang magpautang kasi takot ng hindi magbayad. No, actually, if you're looking at lending companies, okay, so if you look at this, if you're talking to a small market, it's a different problem. Okay, how old Noel, how will developers help a client who's affected with this pandemic? Again, developers are here to listen. I am in talk with them and I'm very happy. They will help all the brokers, all the agents. Just write a letter. The most important is you must have documents and write a letter. Okay? So, your topic, Boss Andy, is very exciting, and I always believe in you because we've been together this for the past 11 years. That the market driver for Philippines is tourism and OFW. So the OFW market, the most are into the medical courses. We're happy with that one because it can help the buyers now choose the best property. So my opinion here is the luxury properties will go down. Okay, so it's not good, and it must be practical projects, good investments for our developers. Okay, so we still have some questions, and we're gonna move forward because the webinar is getting more exciting, and I really love your presentation, Boss Andy Manalac. Okay, so Boss Isa, can you move forward?
Actually, just
Sige, Boss
an
Andy.
additional. For the past three crises, the observation is that the high end, the luxury project, and the low end, the housing, these are the two areas, the two segments that are not was this easily influenced by macro or microeconomic influences. The rich, the very rich, still have a lot of money. Kahit yung mga 2 years pa yung mag-COVID, may pera. And that's
Correct, correct.
these are the ones who buy. These are the ones who look for deals. That's the reason why, sabi ko kanina, keep in touch, keep in close connection with your rich buyers. They are just looking for good deals. So this market, the super high end and the housing, these are very stable markets. The middle, because housing will always be a need, and then there will always to be government subsidy. I hope this government really supports that one. But the high end, also the super high end, una, konti lang yung nag-supply dyan. So it's not a very crowded space. Two, there's still a lot of Filipinos who became millionaires overnight for the past 3 years, selling their that small property mo now is worth 100 million. Right? So ang dami nang maging millionaire, ang dami naging billionaire. So you tap these two markets. So, and then it will take a few more months before the middle class reacts.
There's a question, Boss Andy, about the POGOs and BPOs. So since there's a lot of BPOs all over the country, so what's your take with that?
Okay. BPOs, when karamihan BPOs natin usually nasa US, mostly English-speaking countries, right? It will be impractical for a Japanese firm to have their BPO here and train the agents to become to speak Japanese. It's going to be more costly. So most of the English-speaking countries have their BPOs here. When good times come, they expand. Of course, they want the cost to be lower. What do? They establish BPOs here. Now, if there's a crisis in the US, they need to cut down on cost. Maybe magkaroon ng layoff doon, but they need to have their operations still. So they need a cheaper backroom operations. So what does that mean? BPO pa rin dito sa atin. Yeah. So BPO is a bit more sustainable because there's that need.
Yeah, they still need Filipinos.
They still need.
Yeah.
They need the Filipino. They need the Filipino BPOs. They need the Filipino sailors. They need the Filipino health workers. Without the Filipinos, the world will stop.
Correct. So to all of you there, don't worry. The market is still in a very good boat. Okay, so you just have to take advantage. This is a discussion to really help lift up the industry. But believe me, there's one of my agents. Okay, she got. Boss Andy, one of my agents. Claribel, right?
Yeah.
She got 100 buyers. Have you seen that? 100 buyers. That's this week.
Claribel is always my idol and my example in a lot of my training.
Yeah. Anyways, Aiza.
Yes, boss. May pahabol lang. We have a question from Dilip. Sabi niya, there will be a major losses all over the world. Consumption of not essential will be very limited. Factories will run on limited capacity. In other words, there will be a major slowdown in the economy. How long do you feel this situation will last? And second, do you think human contact will return back to where we were?
Okay. Uh, well, that or just an opinion. Only God knows how long this will last. The based on the observation that I just presented, one, we don't know when it will end, but relatively, the health crisis will there's going to be a faster recovery in those areas which I've presented earlier. So recovery wise, maybe we're in a better position. And then who are we dealing with? Yes, there will be a lot of factories that will be affected. That's the reason why I also presented who are we trading with? Who are we expecting to visit us as tourists also? And what's this? All those factors. As to the date, only God knows. Yeah.
Yeah, you're cutting up. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Okay. All right. So, yeah, we'll pause for a few minute break. We'll just play our ad right now, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Just stay online with us.
Why do you love Filipino system? It has the best, leading, and professional one-of-a-kind real estate service service. From its humble beginning up to the top, the company never stopped on its growth and innovations. It really changed our life and my family to be more successful from a regular employee to a real estate service practitioner. I love Filipino Homes because it continues to grow. It seeks to continuously improve what it can for the industry, not just the company.
Filipino Homes equips me with all that I need so I can provide better service and value to my clients. On top of that, we always get high quality training, just like this country, which are aimed to improve our business skills, develop our character, both personally and professionally. Because of Filipino Homes, I can now work smarter and sell smarter. Truly, Filipino Homes is changing the game in real estate today. With Filipino Homes, I'm living a life I never imagined. It changed my life, my family's life.
Why Filipino Homes? Because it gives me the opportunity to travel the world.
It's the best company in the world. You know what? I now have my own business with the best system that can provide you the success that I've always dreamed of. I have the best friendship with my teammates. And lastly, purpose. I know the direction of my life and my dreams are all clear. Excited to work with Filipino Homes all the rest of my life.
Filipino Homes molds every agent and broker to be better. The company gives us free trainings and seminars for us to be equipped with information and for us to become the best real estate information in the Philippines. With Filipino Homes, we're ready to face the future.
Actually, changed my life. I'm an IT professional, graduate broker with more dreams, and it did come true with Filipino Homes. And it inspires people to dream more and to strive hard for the betterment of our life and our career.
I love Filipino Homes because it makes real estate selling easy. We have the brand, we have the system, we have free world-class trainings, and more. Filipino Homes is designed for us to succeed.
It allows me to grow and help me build strong values towards my clients, colleagues, friends, and family. Filipino Homes allows me to dream big and make it happen.
Filipino Homes is the #1 leading real estate brand in the Philippines. Developing licensed, quality, and high-performing agents is its top priority. Aiming to help our clients provide the best and quality property investment.
We are now a real estate developer in our province and leading our real estate sales force in the Caraga region.
Everything is made possible with a wide network and strong connections that we built through Filipino Homes. We love Filipino Homes.
Filipino Homes is the most exceptional real estate industry in the Philippines today. Filipino Homes has also molded me as a real estate broker.
Why I love Filipino Homes? Simply because I want to be with the #1 real estate company in the Philippines, that is Filipino Homes. This is my home.
Filipino Home, we have experience what
Saisa, we're cutting out. Boss Andy, can you hear me? Yeah. So we're back. Can you hear me, Boss Andy? Boss Andy, your mic. Turn on your mic. Yeah. Okay. So, have you seen some questions there, Boss Andy?
I don't think I have that.
Yeah. But anyway,
Yeah, I
we'd
have a
like.
question here, boss.
Yeah, question, Saisa.
Yeah, I have a question here from Fauzia Jamsuri. Sir, in this time of crisis, since you mentioned it is a planting stage, digital is the platform we can best utilize. How do we properly execute and implement it? Thank you.
Sorry.
In this time of crisis, since you mentioned it is planting stage, digital is the platform we can best utilize. How do we properly execute and implement it? That's the question po.
Okay. Sabi nga, in everything give thanks. In everything give thanks. The other day when I was walking and I was praying, sabi nga, hindi ba we're very lucky that this thing happened now, that we have technology, we have online, we have Wi-Fi, we have Zoom. Just imagine, what if this happened 20 years ago when nobody was connected online? You can just imagine yung spread, no? And how can we communicate with our friends and our network and our clients? So what I'm trying to drive at is, nandito na yung platform, nandito na yung online and digital technology, no? Now, why don't we maximize it? Most of them are what? In LinkedIn or Facebook or Viber's very active. Zoom ngayon is very popular. Sabi nga nila, baka si Zoom ang nagpakalat ng virus, ah. Because naging very popular si Zoom ngayon. No, but what I'm trying to say is, connect with them. Connect with them. Everybody has no choice but to be online now in social media, except for watching Crash Landing, no? If they're not watching Crash Landing, nandun sila sa social media. So reach out to them. You reach out to them, you contact them, You talk to them, they want to hear your voice, nagsasawa na yan sa boses din sa paligid ng bahay nila. And give them something positive, maybe something that you've learned, something uh, that you can share. Forget about, and as much as possible, try to avoid ranting on social media. Try to avoid forwarding negative messages because they're not helping. They're not helping. So be the source of positive information, be the source of positive motivation, and just be the source of the latest news, especially positive news about our business, about our industry. But definitely, right now, be more sensitive. Don't push too much with selling. No, be more sensitive. But if you establish your presence, they will be the ones to ask you, "Oh, what's happening, ba? What's happening in real estate?" So, the market is there, wala na activities ngayon. But tatanungin niya, what do you think can we invest? That's the reason why you have to be ready. And that is the advantage of Filipino homes. Right now, there's no real estate company with the kind of inventory that you have. You have over 30,000 listings. You have over 30,000 properties in your listings at your fingertips. Nobody has that. They have to go through the other portals. They have to go through the other platforms. But you already have that. One, you have that listings. Number two, you have the network where you can do cross selling. From Parañaque, from Manila, I can sell maybe in Bukidnon if I have a client, and I will just connect with one of the Filipino agents who is an expert in that area. Be a local expert but globally connected. And you have the technology for that. Take advantage of that.
Yes, definitely be a local expert of your area. No, so another question that we have here, Sir Andy, is from uh, wait, Sir Ton already read this. Another, I hear from Joseph Trinidad of Primary Homes. Is our government ready also for an e-document or e-forms? And is our real
I already
estate
answered that.
e-commerce? Ah, yeah, you're right. Okay. Another one. Which one? Is there a strategic plan or good offers to our foreign investors, knowing that the president has a declared mandatory visa to incoming foreigners, especially coming from the U.S.? That's from Eileen Candiza.
The government has issued mandatory visa.
Since that we are in quarantine, so the government is actually not accepting foreigners, and they are now asking for visa for everybody who will be coming over here. So yun ang question.
Yeah. Nagtampo lang yan, nagalit kay
Yeah.
delegate.
Yeah.
Well, I think right now we need all the help we can get. Everybody has to move around to uh, help business also rebound. This is not the time for personal wins, no, or grudges. They should repeat that.
Yeah.
Nasaan nga pala si Bato? Sabi ni Darna, Ding
ang bato.
Okay.
Oo nga. Yeah, Sir Ton, there's another question here. I think you can answer this. Is there any good project in Cebu Island for property investments by foreigners that they need a guaranteed rental of a minimum of 6% and buyback by developer after 5 years of minimum 125%?
Income?
I'm sorry?
No, here is not yet offered yet. That's not yet offered yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the question that we have right now. Ano pa ba? Ito pa isa, boss. If this pandemic will continue in the next months to come, is there a chance that real estate value will go down, especially on condos?
Okay. For the past crisis, no, that we have experienced, I don't remember of any project or real estate that has gone down as a trend. There are some, of course, there are some isolated cases wherein may personal need that they have to do sacrifice sale, but not really as a trend. What became a trend was the adjustment of in the reconfiguration of projects whenever there's a crisis. In 89, what we were selling, there were no small studios. These are mostly big units, 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms. Tapos yun nga, cash or deferred cash, no? So parang ang cut nun, parang steak. Nagkaroon ng 1997 crisis, so as to still maintain affordability, yung steak, ginawang cut ng mechado. So lumiit yung mga sizes, nagkaroon ng mga 2 bedrooms, 1 bedroom smaller 1 bedrooms. Pagdating ng 2008, nagkaroon naman ng crisis, they had to readjust. That's why nagkaroon ka ng maliliit na studio, meron ng mga 36 square meters, naging 32, naging 28, may 20, may 18 na ngayon. So yung dating mechado, naging minuto na ngayon. Ngayon, meron na naman silang sinasabi na micro studios. Ito na yung giniling. Okay, plus, before, actually, you see, a 30-story condo, kaya mo naman tapusin in 2 years. Eh. But what they did, to make it affordable to the market, they stretched the construction period. And the payment term is usually coterminous with the construction period. Why? Because they just want to have that amount to the threshold of what the Filipino buyer can afford. But in terms of prices going down, not really. Okay, except for recently, there's a big developer who's offering hefty discounts in 1 or 2 of their projects. You know this developer, they're very big. They've offered very big discounts, and they've even given bigger commissions to the brokers or to the agent. I am sure you know that developer. Somehow it may be a wise move but only those who have priced their in my previous interviews, I've always said that in some areas there are some projects which are priced too much. It's a price too much. One, I think the prices were pushed up because of the demand. The demand, which I suppose also was quite artificial, were pushed up because of bulk sale. That's the reason now some developers really don't allow any more bulk sale. But because of the bulk sale, the price will push up beyond the reach of the regular Filipino. So in some areas that was the case. So I said that is not going to be sustainable, and that will need to correct. Whether we had the COVID or not, that we have to correct. And so what happened now, I think since last week, this developer reduced their price. No, they didn't reduce their price, but they offered big discount. Some units up to 30% discount. And then double price. Now, somehow, marketing wise, it's also a very good strategy, because the other question earlier was that what happens if this takes a long time? Diba? Will the prices adjust? You see, if this developer will wait for that time to happen and everybody's adjusting their price, then mas mataas pa rin sila. Since they adjusted their price now, and the discount really sound very, very attractive, they were able to sell. I think they were able to sell about 6 billion last month. So That's not the COVID time na yan.
Correct.
So, wise move. So again, it is how you shift your strategies with the shift to the market.
Yeah.
Make it continuously shifting. You have to, dapat hindi tayo ganun ka komportable always. With or without COVID, market is always shifting. And we always have to be aware of that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good point. So everybody, if to all the practitioners, it's very important. I just want to highlight this. We have to adapt technology. Okay, so we have to adapt change, and this is a bit good time to really think over and over again. So since we have so much to learn today, so Boss Isa,
Yes, sobrang dami nating inputs today and we're actually already running 2 hours in this webinar. So that's very amazing. Okay, parting words na lang po, Sir Andy. What's your message of hope for our agents?
Okay. Now that we're at home, what I've been doing and what I also would like to suggest everybody to do is to do a lot of investing. We do a lot of investing during this lockdown period. Number one, we invest in your faith in God. Invest in your faith in God now. You pray and then be thankful na nasa loob ka ng bahay with your family and you're breathing free air. Air is free. Right now, sabi nga, I just posted a while ago, in Italy, there was a 93-year-old man who was discharged, who recovered, and then he was charged 5,000 euros just for the use of the ventilator for one day. So he realized the value. Imagine we've been breathing this free air. Now we have to pay. Kahit gaano kayaman ka ngayon, you cannot buy air because your lungs would not accept it. So, number one, invest in your relationship with God. Number two, invest in the relationships with your family. Number one, with your network. Under your network, you have your network of clients. You have your network of agents, and then your network of referrals. Build your relationship with them. A real relationship showing care. Showing care. How do you do that? You reach out to them. You motivate them. You train them. You give positive advice to them. Number three is invest in your health. Are you going to come out fat or you're going to come out fit? So it's up to you. Invest in your health. Now that we appreciate that the thing that we need now is health. Very important. Number three is invest in knowledge. Instead of just watching some senseless movies, watch biographies of successful people. You watch training videos. You watch YouTube. You watch webinars like this. You read books. Okay, so invest in your knowledge. Another one, invest in your online resources. All the social media. Build it up. Set it up. So that you have all the time. Lastly, is invest in your brand. Invest in your brand and invest in your authority. You go on social media. And then, okay, nasa Zoom na nga kayo and then papakita ka pa doon, woke up like this. Di ba? Kung baano ka kagising na. If you want to invest in your brand, wear your brand. You see? That's the reason why you're wearing the Filipino Homes brand and wearing the Habitat and Keller Williams brand because you want to establish your brand. Why? And this is my last message. Because after this, people, write this down. After this, people will be looking for agents who are specialists, who are honest, who is an authority, and responsive. Dapat nandun ka pag tinawagan ka, and knowledgeable of the projects or the products that they're selling. Okay? You're a specialist, you're honest, you're an authority, you're responsive, and you're knowledgeable. SHARK.
Ah, shark.
So be a shark.
Yes.
So
Okay.
people will be looking for that.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Boss Andy. Thank you so much for being our speaker and presenter for today. Boston, do you have
Yeah.
any other?
So to everybody who are here, so I'd like to actually include the recognition for, I mean, to present our attendees from the developer side, Italpinas. Okay, so welcome to our
Los Romulus.
live webinar. Yes, they're here. So the King family, Jason King, thank you very much for coming. Okay, so I think we got so many developers here. Okay, so anyway, we'd like to thank you, Boss Andy, for being the one of the the best resource speaker today to really lift up the Filipinos, especially the brokers and the developers. And they have so many, I mean, things, I mean, ideas now they have been written down to really improve their business. And so we can keep on doing this. And there is a suggestion here, shoot to our presentation that Boston, can you please do this from time to time? Definitely, we're doing this for all of you guys. Okay, I know we need a big organization, big network, and we have to help each other. Okay, the only way is we have to be together with this. Okay, whether bad times and good times, the best way is to help each other. Me and Andy is here with all the rest of the organization. We are here to really help the organization because, you know, life is temporary. We are just here for a few years. Okay, so why do we have to, hoard our ideas, hoard our talents? And the only way is to really lift up the Filipinos to have a better society, and especially in our career real estate. Okay, so definitely, with all the inputs, with all the ideas, we can connect with the government, we can be as one and create a voice to really hear them, what is really needed in the market and how we can react to the market after COVID-19. So my last thought on this is, again, pray, communicate, go back to your team, go back to your office, pray, and go back, connect with your organization for the developers, motivate your staff. Okay, don't don't lay off them. Okay, so you just have to feed them, keep in touch, because this is just a short, actually, the problem. Okay, so it's just we can bring back the real estate activity, and we can create and build more strategy. Okay, so and next is we will be developing more trainings to really answer the needs of the industry. Okay, we know that it is very important, and I'm happy that I shared you some of my inputs and how we can be better as a real estate professional. Okay, motivate your team every day. Okay, exercise, distress. It's very important. Now is my time to exercise. I'll be out for 2 hours again to exercise and save you cash for the next idea. Okay, so to all of you, thank you very much for listening. We love you guys. We are one Filipino. Babangon ang Pilipinas. Let's fight COVID, and God bless you. Be happy.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Good day.
Thank you, boss. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Boss Andy. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.